Hey, what is going on, guys? We're here with Blake, and he went 4-0 with his Volcanic deck. Had a lot of people asking for updated deck profile with the new AGOW support, so how do you feel about the deck?
Really good. It has a lot of interruptions and a lot of ways to keep playing through Ash, Emperor, Droll even.
Yeah.
Shifter home.
Ban Shifter.
We hate Shifter. Ban Shifter.
Alright, let's go ahead and get into the card by card.
So starting with the Volcanic stuff, same thing, 3 shells. You always run 3 shells. Weirdly, I'm only running 2 Rimfire just for space sake. We are still running 3 Scattershot, just brought that back into this deck. I was playing without it for a little while because of the combination of cards I'm using. Not a huge fan of not running it just because that extra interruption is just completely worth it.
Right.
3 Trooper, you have to.
Good card.
1 Rocket, rather than 3, just 1. Use it to search reload. That's all you really need. It's not as necessary now because of the rest of this deck. 2 Emperor, 3's too many, 1's not enough, 2's just right. 2 Volcanic Blade Accelerator and the 1 regular.
Right.
Because you have to play this one with these 2. If I could change one thing, I'd let this say Blaze Accelerator card, because then you could just send a reload and it would be ridiculous.
That would be ridiculous.
1 Fire Recovery. It's not super necessary, but it is nice in a pinch. Funny enough, I didn't see this card a single time today. In every game I played, went to game 3, didn't see it once.
That's unfortunate.
So that was really weird, but I mean, it's fine. We play 1 of each Trap, Emission, and Inferno. Just good cards, set them off Emperor.
Yep.
2 Reload. You've got a lot of ways to discard in this deck. Trooper discards, as well as a few other cards that we'll get to. Puts it in grave. You can send your shell, Rimfire. It's a scatter shot on their turn, whatever you need it to be. We're just running the 1 of, hoping to draw it, but that's about it. We don't really need it. I could take it out. I just like it because it's funny when it does happen.
It is very funny.
We're no longer playing the Firefox that searches it, though, because it's just, I draw it too much.
Gotcha.
3 Ash Blossom, 2 DD Crow. Crow is fun in this format.
Yeah, you liking Crow in the main deck?
I am indeed. I dropped it down to 2 just to make, again, room. So this is a 45 card deck. The Crow's really funny, especially against things like Red Dragon Archfiend. They go Red Rising, they target the Crimson Resonator. You just chain Crow Resonator. If they don't have follow-up in their hand, they're stuck on 1 2100 monster.
Yeah.
1 called by, because
it's the same thing.
Called by. Then we get into Diabell Star.
Yep.
A single Diabell Star.
So how do you feel about the Diabell Star kind of engine?
I like it a lot. For me, it's mostly just to get into Shell and Rimfire.
Okay.
But it can do other things with the Snake Eye cards. Obviously, if we're running a Diabell Star, we're running 3 Wanted.
Yep.
Man, I'm glad I picked that up before Rescue Ace and Inferno Omelets and all that turn.
Yeah.
Whatever the word is, you know what I mean.
Yeah, there's a lot of decks that are using that, and it's like $60 now.
80,
85.
Last I checked.
Dang.
The 1 Simple Spoils, because that goes with our Snake Eye Ash. Ash searches any level 1 fire when it's summoned, which Shell and Rimfire both are, as well as its friend here, Birch. Birch can special summon itself from your hand if you control another fire monster. That's its only requirement. It has other effects, but that's really all we use it for. We summon Ash, we grab Birch. Ash effects send it and Birch to grave to summon Flameburst Dragon. Flameburst Dragon is a very weird form of removal. You target a monster in either grave or field and put it in the respective owner's spell or trap zone as a continuous spell. And then on your opponent's turn quick effect, you can target one of those monsters that's treated as a continuous spell and summon it to your side.
Yeah, so you didn't do this against me, but somebody did Flamberge, set my Soul of Rage in my spell and trap zone. Then on their turn, they summon it back and then used Rage for Unicorn. It felt very bad.
Yeah, that's how it feels to be on the other side of that.
Yeah.
Then we get into the weird thing that makes everyone go, what? 3 Horus Mcetti. The 1 Duomatef and the 1 Happy. And then 3 Sark.
Did we cut the Quebashef?
We did. So, however you say it, the protection Horus, Kebasenuyaf, Quebasen, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not bad for that extra monster to exceed. But more times than not, you draw it and you don't want to draw it. The only horse monster you want to draw is Imseti. Unless you have Imseti and one of the others, you're fine because it searches. But if you have like Happy's a brick, Dumatef's a brick, whatever the other one is a brick. Which you still run that risk with
The Happy and Duamatef.
with those two, but it's less so because you're only running 2 rather than 3, and more times than not, running a 45 card deck, you're not going to run into that issue.
Gotcha.
The extra deck I've been messing around with a lot, trying to find what to do with it. It's just toolbox. You can really do whatever you want. The main thing is pretty much 1, 2, 3 cards. That's about it. So we start with Relinquished Anima because we're running a lot of level 1s. Funny enough, I actually had an interaction today that I had SP Little Knight. My opponent had his SP in the field zone. I had just brought mine back to the middle zone. So, summoned Anima to take his SP. He chained to banish both of ours. I chained to banish, I don't remember what he had on the field. But taking both of these off, his SP no longer could banish, so Relinquished Anima still took it. Very funny interaction.
That is very funny.
1 Saladin Great Almirage. We normal summon a lot of monsters with 1,000 or less attack, so it's just a nice protection. Same thing with Link Karibo, a lot of level 1s.
Yeah.
The places I go to seem to see Iblilock a fair amount, so I just run the 1 Link Karibo. Just because I can.
You have plenty of space.
Exactly.
All right.
Then we run IPSP because,
Insane
who doesn't
combo.
right now?
Insane, yeah.
We're running 2 of the Charmers now, Dark and Hida.
Gotcha.
Because with Dark, we have so many Dark monsters now,
Yeah.
as well as main deck Imseti and, what's the Witch?
Diabellstar.
Diabellstar, thank you. After that, we have 1 Nightmare Phoenix for removal, as well as it plays into getting Gozen Mash because it's a fire. That's kind of the nice thing about this deck is it can play into Tikaboo, Gozen, or Rivalry. With Rivalry or Gozen, you just play through your Volcanic stuff. If they Tikaboo, the horse monsters are all different, as well as Diabellstar's a spellcaster, so the only one that intersects with is Imseti. Flamber's Dragon's a dragon, Emperor's a pyro, so you get a lot of variety.
Yeah.
So either way, it hurts a little, but you can play through it. 1 Appaloosa because, it's Appaloosa, it's useful, and White Woman.
Yep. The White Lady.
The White Lady jump scare. We also run 1 Coach King Giant Trainer.
This card literally just reads Pot of Greed, but better.
This card reads, if you go first, it doesn't matter that you have to skip your battle phase this turn because you don't get 1 anyway.
Yeah.
It's just draw 3. I've had games where I've had 12, 15 cards engraved, this on field, and still a full hand of 5 cards because of things like this.
Yep.
We were able to pick up a number 90, Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord, which is good for stopping Nib if you know you're playing against someone that plays it a lot. Otherwise, you can do that if you don't plan on going for the Coach King.
Yeah.
You can set that up with a Hope Harbinger, so you have a monster negate and a spell negate.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, if you've set all that up off of your Emperor, you'll have set Inferno, which is the monster negate again, so you get a few negates on board.
Yeah.
The last card that actually did save me multiple times a day, Typhon.
Typhon's crazy.
It is a crazy card. I was up against a Chaos Angel, Barone, and Despater. Summon Typhon.
Yep. Great card. Great card. Not as insane as we thought. It's not as insane as we thought it would be, like when it was announced, but it is still a very good card.
It is incredibly useful.
Yeah.
The side deck is really more of a preference thing.
Yeah.
Currently, I didn't organize this. So
You're good.
whatever. Currently, just because I don't like back row, Feather Duster and 2 Twin Twisters because we plus off of discarding.
Yeah.
Speaking of plussing off discarding, we're running 3 Forbidden Droplet. That saved me multiple times today. I was playing against Emperor Noble, and he had, Emperor Charles, the Synchro Andy Link, as well as an SP on field, and I just dropleted, turned them all off, summoned a bunch of horse monsters, and
There you go.
we're running 2 evenly. One card that actually did help quite a bit today as well, Dimensional Barrier.
Yep.
I had one game against Exo Sister that was really funny because I drew both of them starting going first. So I didn't have much else than that. I set them both pass a turn on his draw phase, D-Barrier, stopped him from Xyz summoning. He evenly, because he had nothing else. I kept the other D-Barrier and nothing else because all I had was like a Link Karibo and face down bluff. I think it was Blaze Accelerator. And then next turn on his turn, again, D-Barrier, and it was just a hilarious grind game. We're playing 2 Droll because we don't like Vanadium.
Fair enough.
And then we have some Sacrificers, 1 Nib, 1 Lava Roll, and 1 Kurikara.
A lot of 2s and 1-ofs, but I can respect it.
I prefer 2s and 1-ofs because I run things like, per se, I run 3 D-Barrier, 3 evenly, 3 Droll. I see them too much and I don't see enough engine. So if I'm only siding in 2 instead of 3, I still see it, but I'm not seeing too many that I can't play beyond stopping them from playing.
Right. Yeah, and I guess the nice thing is, like, if you're not seeing multiples, like for cards that are hard once, like D-Barrier.
Yep. And that's exactly why I don't want to see
yeah.
3 of them in my hand.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, man. Well, very cool. Do you have any shout-outs?
Yeah, we always shout out Payne. We love him for hounding Konami for the Volcanic support. I've been loving it since August when it came out. It's been a fun time. The FTK is pretty much dead just because there's better ways to play this deck now. That's about it.
All right. Well, very cool. Thanks.